Welcome to the RC Community Sticker Project, brought to you by Fast Freddy RC. In today's video, we're doing a shout-out to Poor Boys RC. Great guy, great running videos, and be excellent to each other. So for step 4, the rear steering servo. Well, we're basically doing the exact same thing as the front steering servo, but you will notice a few differences. 1, they're getting you to put the ball connector onto the piece before installing on the servo. Really wish that had been in the first part. Not really sure why they didn't. So this is great. We're going to put that on first. The other thing is you'll see the positioning. Notice that this is kind of off to the side, whereas when we did this before, the servo saver was more or less sitting like that. So there is a change in the positioning of this servo saver, so that's interesting. So I will actually put this together, and I might even put these pieces on because you've already seen me do that. We don't need to repeat it, but I will take another look with you when we're actually putting the servo saver onto the servo itself, just because of the difference in the positioning. But everything else is the same as when we put on all of the servo saver stuff for the front steering servo. So in the end, I just went ahead and did the whole thing. So you can see that the positioning of the servo saver looks a little bit different to what we did for the front one, but I've screwed everything down. We know that there were no issues attaching it to the chassis, so this is really finished, and that is essentially what it needs to look like when you've completed that step. So we're going to move on to step 5 of the rear wheel steering, the steering linkage. And you can see that we need to pull all these together. This one's quite a bit shorter than the one that we did for the front. And then of course we've got all of the bits and pieces for the steering that has to go onto the chassis at a later step as well. So I've pulled together all of the pieces here. So I'll set this up and we'll start working on the steering linkage. So let's grab our longer threaded shaft and we'll start screwing these pieces on. And again, if you don't have them, shock pliers are absolutely awesome for this because it means you can really get a grip on the rod itself and spin these connector pieces on with real ease. So I'll do the same with the other side. Now just gonna do a quick check. These are the ones that are supposed to be 33 millimeters in length. And what's interesting is, compared to the front, they're going to be exactly the same width. 35, 30, yeah, I've got a long way to go here. And I'm trying to match them a little bit too. So you see there's lots of thread on the left, not that much on the right. I want to balance these. Oh, that shaft doesn't want to stick. So we're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. Let's see what we've got for distance on this. Actually, pretty good. We're actually at the 33. So I'm good with that. So I'm going to make another one of these long ones. I won't do it on camera just to speed things up a bit. Okay, so I've done the other one as well. So both of these now are of equal length. If we push that, there we go. They're now of equal length. So we can work on the smaller one. Now the smaller one has this OP1 threaded shaft, and I mean, it's a tiny guy. So these are going to be a little bit more difficult because I don't have anything to really grab with the shock pliers. So what I'm going to have to do is attach it to the other adjuster and hopefully be able to just spin both pieces in this way, because we don't have a smooth shaft to grab onto now. And this is only going to be 9 millimeters, which is going to be very, very small. That's interesting. 9 millimeters. Okay, well, I gotta back this off quite a bit. I've actually gone too far. But the diagram's nice because you can really get a sense of what it is. I mean, I do a double check anyway with the ruler and just kind of make sure everything's correct. But there is your 9 millimeter. So there's your 33 and there's your 9. It's quite a bit smaller. So this part is done. So now we can move on to this bit where we're going to start attaching these to this piece here once we've got this steering set up correct. So we've got to get the ball connectors in and put in the 2 ball bearings. So once we've done that, we can move on to attaching the rods. So first off, let's get the ball connectors on. And you can see that this is facing up, and you can see that there's sort of 3, which you can see there, 3 and 2. So we're gonna get these ones on, and you can see that the ball connectors are going on to both on this side. So again, I just want to make sure that that is correct. Yes, it is. So this is going to go here, and I'm using the box wrench as a guide, which will help to make sure that it goes in correctly. There's one, and we'll grab the other one. Same thing on the other side. Keep that level. Gives you a good idea as to whether that's going in correctly, which it is. So we can screw this all the way down. There we go. There's 2. And then this third connector, you can see they want it in this back side. So not the holes up here, but the back one. So again, stick that in there. And just make sure that that's correct. Yes, it is. Stick it into this one. And that's level 2, so that's good. We'll just screw this all the way in. And there we go. So that's how your ball connectors are going to look on this piece. And then the last bit is we need to put in these 850 bearings into both ends. So there's one, and we'll put the other one in, pop that in, and there we go. So this piece here will look like that once you're finished with it. So that's great. And now it's just a matter of popping on everything. So we can see here that these 2 are going to be identical, and they're going to fit onto this end. So let's just see if I can do it this way with it lying on its side. I'll try to do it this way anyway. Nope. All right, let's try it this way instead. back to how I was trying to do it. There we go. So there's one. And get the other one in place. And there's two. And for this last one here, I'm going to attach it right there. So I'll flip it on its side again. And because that seems like it's the easiest way to do it. If I get the positioning correct. Come on. Sometimes I make this harder than it should be. Let's do it this way. There. And there we go. So, ultimately, that is what this step should look like when you're finished. So, step 5 is complete. So now we're going to move on to step 6 and attach the rear steering linkage.